Embrace the breaking point. Eber, failure isn't the end. It's the only place where real growth begins. Every collapse is the foundation for your rebuild. The breaking point isn't a curse, it's a mirror. It's where you meet the version of yourself that's been hiding beneath comfort, excuses, and fear. When everything falls apart, when your plans crumble, and when your effort seems invisible, that's not life punishing you. That's life testing how badly you really want it. The world doesn't care about your potential, it cares about your execution. And the breaking point? That's where execution is forged through pain, through silence, through failure after failure. When you hit that wall, most people stop. They retreat. They label it as defeat. But the few who go beyond that moment, who take one more step when the world says enough, they're the ones who rewrite what's possible. You see, success doesn't live in the comfort zone. It's born in the chaos of collapse. Every great story starts with a moment of destruction, a dream shattered, a path closed, a soul broken. But the people who rise from that wreckage, they learn something most will never understand. Failure is feedback. It's information. It's the universe stripping away everything that's weak so only what's real can remain. You can't build strength and safety. You can't find identity without losing the old one first. When you fall, when you fail, when you get knocked flat, that's the rawest, realest part of your evolution. That's where you find out if you actually mean what you say. Everybody talks about greatness. Everybody talks about winning, but only a few have the guts to walk through hell to earn it. The breaking point doesn't care about motivation. It doesn't care about talent. It demands resilience, discipline, and the ability to stand tall when everything inside you wants to quit. You have to learn to look failure in the face and say, thank you. Because every failure is a lesson disguised as pain. Every setback is a teacher testing your patience, your endurance, and your hunger. Most people spend their lives running from discomfort, running from anything that makes them feel small or weak. But the truth is, you can't grow without feeling small. You can't evolve without feeling lost. Every champion was once a disaster that refused to die in defeat. You have to learn to embrace that disaster, to understand that your scars are not shame. They're proof that you didn't give up when the world tried to bury you. When you hit rock bottom, stop asking why me and start asking what now? Because that's the difference between the broken and the unbreakable. The broken stay down and blame life. The unbreakable rise, rebuild, and turn every scar into strategy. The moment you start seeing failure as a necessary step, not a setback, everything changes. You stop fearing it. You start using it. You begin to understand that failure is the gym where your soul trains. Every repetition of pain builds endurance. Every rep of rejection builds character. Every rep of defeat builds dominance. You don't find greatness by winning once. You find it by losing 100 times and still showing up the next day with fire in your chest. The breaking point isn't meant to destroy you. It's meant to strip away the version of you that can't handle what's ahead. It's meant to test your limits, your belief, and your will. It's meant to see if you'll quit or if you'll fight back. When you're at your lowest, you're actually standing at the door of transformation. Most people walk away. You kick that door down. You embrace the pain, the confusion, the loneliness, because deep down, you know this is where you level up. You can't cheat the process. You can't skip the suffering. If you want to build something legendary, whether it's your body, your business, or your mindset, you have to learn to operate under pressure. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because while others are crying about how hard it is, you're grinding through it. While others are waiting for a break, you're creating one. Failure is the only real teacher in this game because it doesn't lie. It doesn't flatter you. It tells you exactly who you are and what you lack. And if you listen, if you study the pain instead of avoiding it, you'll grow faster than anyone who tries to stay comfortable. Every great comeback was once a breakdown. Every success story was written with ink made of blood, sweat, and persistence. The breaking point is not your enemy, it's your compass. It points you toward the direction of your next evolution. You can't control how hard you fall, but you can control how hard you fight after the fall. You can control whether you stay broken or use that break to build a stronger foundation. When everything feels like it's falling apart, that's actually the universe rearranging the pieces so you can rise in a new form. So when failure hits, and it will, Don't run from it. Sit with it. Feel it. Break under it if you must, but then stand back up. Because every time you rise from failure, you're becoming someone unstoppable. You're proving that pain is powerless against purpose. The breaking point is your beginning, not your end. It's where fear ends and faith begins. It's where excuses die and effort is born. It's where the weak walk away and the strong get forged into something unbreakable. And once you've been broken and rebuilt, you become dangerous because there's nothing left in you that can be destroyed. Suffer with purpose. Their pain is not punishment. It's progress. The grind hurts because it's carving out the version of you that can handle what's coming. Every drop of sweat, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt has meaning. The pain you feel isn't random. It's the price you pay for growth. You're not being punished by the struggle. You're being prepared by it. Most people want strength without sacrifice, progress without pressure, success without suffering. But it doesn't work that way. You can't sharpen steel without friction, and you can't build a strong mind without pain. Every great transformation demands a toll, and that toll is your comfort. When you suffer with purpose, the pain stops being the enemy. It becomes your ally. It becomes a teacher that forces you to evolve. There's a difference between meaningless pain and purposeful suffering. Meaningless pain comes from quitting, from avoiding, from living a life that's half-hearted and safe. Purposeful suffering comes from choosing the hard path because you know what it's building inside you. It's waking up before the world, showing up when no one's watching, pushing through exhaustion, facing fear, and keeping promises you made to yourself. That kind of suffering doesn't destroy you. It refines you. The world tries to sell comfort as the goal, easy life, fast success, instant gratification. But comfort breeds weakness. Comfort dulls your edge. Every time you choose easy, you lose a piece of your potential. The grind hurts because you're growing. You're breaking through layers of weakness that have been built by years of comfort. You're peeling back the limits that comfort created. The pain you feel during the process is not there to stop you. It's there to test how bad you want it. It's asking you, are you serious or are you just pretending? And every time you choose to keep going through that pain, you're answering that question with action. When you train your body, you push it until it burns. That burn is not a signal to stop. It's proof that the muscle is growing. The same rule applies to your mind, your goals, your life. Mental pain is the burn of growth. Emotional pain is the burn of evolution. If you avoid it, you stay weak. If you face it, you become unstoppable. Suffering is the silent architect of greatness. Behind every person who made it to the top, there's a story full of sleepless nights, sacrifices, and battles that no one ever saw. Success doesn't happen in the spotlight. It's built in the shadows, in the lonely hours when you're fighting yourself. You have to learn to suffer intentionally, to walk into pain knowing that it's the only way through. Most people tap out the moment life gets uncomfortable. They want results, but they don't want the process. They want change, but they refuse to endure the chaos that comes with it. You can't build a new version of yourself without tearing down the old one, and that demolition hurts. It's messy, it's emotional, it's exhausting. But if you can survive that storm, you'll rise from it stronger, sharper, and hungrier than ever. That's what it means to suffer with purpose, to give your pain direction, to turn struggle into strength. The grind is supposed to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to test you. Every rep, every setback, every failure, they're all chiseling away at the version of you that can't handle what you're meant to become. You don't grow from success, you grow from struggle. You don't evolve through applause, you evolve through adversity. Every painful moment you survive is shaping you for a moment you haven't met yet. When life gets brutal, don't ask for the pain to stop. Ask for the strength to endure it. Because one day you'll look back and realize that every ounce of suffering was training you for something greater. You have to stop seeing pain as a signal to quit. Pain is the signal that you're in the right place, the place where growth happens. Every time you push through it, you expand your capacity. You start to build a mindset that doesn't break. You start to see pain differently. You stop fearing it. You start respecting it. Because pain doesn't lie. It tells you exactly where your limits are and then dares you to go beyond them. That's how you build mental armor. That's how you become resilient. You take pain, process it, and let it forge you into something more disciplined, more dangerous, more driven. Suffering with purpose means accepting that progress doesn't feel good. It means doing what's necessary, not what's comfortable. It means sacrificing short-term comfort for long-term freedom. The road to mastery is paved with discomfort. Every time you choose the harder option, waking up early, training longer, studying more, failing and trying again, you're strengthening your character. You're sending a message to the universe that you're serious about becoming who you said you'd be. And that consistency, that willingness to embrace pain becomes your edge. You'll start to realize that pain is a privilege. Most people will never experience the kind of pain that comes from chasing greatness because they never chase it long enough. They quit when it hurts. They run when it burns. They hide when it gets hard. But the ones who stay, the ones who suffer with purpose, they're the ones who rise. Because once you've been through real pain and refuse to break, nothing else can touch you. You become immune to the world's distractions. You become untouchable. Because you know you've already endured worse, and you've already paid your dues in sweat, sacrifice, and suffering. So when life tests you, when everything feels heavy, when you're tired, nothing seems to move, remember why you started. Remember that this pain is the process. This is what growth feels like. This is what transformation costs. You're not losing. You're being molded. Every hardship, every rejection, every tear is sculpting the version of you that's ready for the next level. You're not suffering aimlessly. You're suffering with purpose. You're becoming the weapon the future requires. No one's coming to save you. Ibroko, waiting for help is the fastest way to stay stuck. You fix your failures by facing them, not by escaping them. The moment you realize no one is coming to rescue you, that's the moment you take your power back. Most people spend their lives waiting for a break, waiting for motivation, waiting for someone to notice their effort or pull them out of the hole they dug for themselves. But life doesn't work that way. No one is going to hand you the discipline, the strength, or the mindset you need to win. You have to build it, brick by brick, through effort, through pain, through ownership. Every second you wait for someone else to make your life better is another second you're handing away control. There's a point in life where you have to stop blaming the world, stop blaming your parents, stop blaming your past, and look in the mirror. Because the truth is brutal. No one cares about your excuses, your struggles, or your stories. The world responds to results. You either get up and fix it, or you stay exactly where you are. That's the law. Nobody's coming to wake you up in the morning. Nobody's coming to drag you to the gym, to build your business, to chase your dream. You do it, or it doesn't get done. And once that truth hits you, you start living differently. You stop hoping for miracles, and you start becoming one. People love the idea of being saved because it lets them stay comfortable. It lets them avoid accountability. It gives them a reason to sit still. But the ones who change their lives are the ones who stop waiting. They stop looking for the perfect timing, the perfect opportunity, the perfect circumstance. They take what they have and they make it work. They act even when they're scared, even when they're uncertain, even when everything around them says they should give up. Because deep down, they understand that no one's going to fight for them harder than they will. The truth is, no one owes you anything. Not success, not understanding, not sympathy. The world doesn't slow down because you're tired, struggling. You can cry, you can scream, you can break down. But after that, you still have to move. You still have to take action. You still have to do the work. Waiting for help is a silent killer. It tricks you into believing that time will fix what effort won't. But time doesn't heal laziness. Time doesn't repair a lack of discipline. The only thing that changes your situation is relentless action, even when you don't feel like it, even when no one's watching. You have to be your own rescue mission. You have to become the person you wish would show up to save you when everything around you is falling apart. You have to be the one who stands up and says, "I'll handle it." Because that's where true confidence is born, not from words, not from motivation, but from knowing that you can rely on yourself when it matters. Every time you take control instead of waiting, you build power. Every time you solve your own problem, you become stronger. That's how self-respect is earned, not by being saved, but by saving yourself. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they wait too long to take responsibility. They wait for the right emotions, the right people, the right moment. But waiting kills dreams. It breeds regret. It rots potential. You'll never feel completely ready. You'll never have everything figured out, but you don't need to. You just need to move. You just need to take the first step, then the next, and keep going until movement becomes momentum. That's how you escape the trap of waiting. Action is the antidote to helplessness. You have to stop searching for heroes and start building one inside yourself. You have to stop expecting others to fix what you keep breaking. It's not your family's job to motivate you. It's not your friend's job to keep you accountable. It's not life's job to make it easy. The hard truth is that no one's coming, and that's a gift. Because once you accept that, you stop depending. You start doing. You start creating the version of yourself that doesn't need saving, the version that doesn't crumble when things get hard, the version that's built to endure, to adapt, to fight. When you finally realize it's all on you, something shifts. You stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for signs. You stop waiting for someone to tell you you're ready. You just act. You take ownership of every mistake, every failure, every choice, and you turn them into fuel. You start holding yourself to a higher standard because you understand no one else will. No one's coming to validate your effort or clap for your discipline. And that's fine. You're not doing it for applause. You're doing it to build the kind of life that no one can take from you. Self-reliance isn't arrogance, it's survival. It's understanding that if you can't depend on yourself, you can't depend on anyone. You have to learn to be your own motivation, your own source of strength. Because when everything goes silent, when there's no crowd, no support, no encouragement, what's left is you, your choices, your mindset, your discipline. That's all that's ever been real. The world can take away your comfort, your money, your friends, but it can't take away your will unless you give it up willingly. You fix your failures by facing them head on. You stare your mistakes in the face and own them. You don't hide behind excuses. You don't wait for someone to make them right. You make them right yourself. Every problem you avoid today becomes a chain that traps you tomorrow. The only way to break free is through action, accountability, and persistence. You stop asking for help from the outside and start demanding more from yourself on the inside. That's where power is created, in the decision to stop waiting and start working. No one's coming to lift the weight for you. No one's coming to silence the doubt for you. No one's coming to hand you the life you dream of. It's all on you, every second, every choice, every sacrifice. That truth might sting, but it's also liberating. Because once you stop waiting, you start moving. Once you stop hoping for help, you start helping yourself. And once you stop expecting rescue, you finally start rising. Build through the ruins. Abe Burr. When everything falls apart, that's your cue. Rebuild from the ashes with discipline as your bricks and belief as your blueprint. The ruins are not your grave. They're your construction site. The collapse was never meant to end you. It was meant to strip away what wasn't built to last. When the dust settles and all that's left is silence, that's when your real work begins. The world loves to watch you crumble, but it's what you do after the fall that defines who you are. When you've lost everything, when you've been broken, betrayed, or abandoned, you're standing in the purest form of opportunity, the chance to rebuild yourself from the ground up, stronger, sharper, and more relentless than before. Pain will try to convince you that it's over. Failure will whisper that you're done, but those voices are lies designed to keep you where you are. You have to silence them with action. You have to remind yourself that destruction is a necessary part of creation. You can't build a new version of yourself on the foundation of who you used to be. Sometimes life has to tear everything down to force you to see what's real. The comfort you lost, the people who left, the opportunities that slipped away, they weren't part of your next chapter. You don't rebuild by mourning the old structure. You rebuild by designing something better. The ruins teach you something success never will. They show you what survives the fire. When everything around you collapses, the things that remain are your truth, your will, your discipline, your ability to endure. Those are your raw materials. That's what you use to start again. The world sees ruins as endings, but you must see them as beginnings. You take the ashes, you take the lessons, you take the scars, and you turn them into the foundation of your comeback. Because no one builds greatness in safety. Greatness is built in the aftermath, when everything you thought you needed is gone and the only thing left is your commitment. Rebuilding isn't glamorous. It's lonely. It's brutal. It's slow. There's no applause when you're digging yourself out of the wreckage. No one celebrates your small steps when you're rebuilding in silence. But that's where strength is born. Discipline becomes your hammer. Consistency becomes your nails. Every single day you show up. Even when no one's watching, even when no one believes, you're laying another brick. That's how you rebuild your life, your mindset, your purpose. Not through motivation, but through discipline. Not through dreams, but through daily grind. When you start again from zero, your old excuses can't survive. You can't afford to play the victim when you're the only one left to fix what's broken. The ruins give you clarity. They strip away the noise, the fake support, the false comfort. All that's left is you and the work, and that's enough. Because everything you've lost can be replaced, but the person you become during the rebuild, that's irreplaceable. That's who you've been searching for all along. Belief becomes your blueprint. You can't rebuild anything without vision. When the world is dark and nothing makes sense, belief is what lights the path. You have to see the structure before it exists. You have to picture yourself climbing out, standing tall again, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Most people stay trapped in the ruins because they can't see past the destruction. They focus on what's gone instead of what can be built. But the ones who rise, the ones who rebuild empires from dust, they see the blueprint in their mind long before the world does. That belief becomes their map. It keeps them moving when logic says to quit. You don't rebuild with hope alone. You rebuild with action. Hope is passive. Belief with discipline is power. You put your head down, you get to work, and you stop waiting for the world to fix itself. Because the world won't. You're the architect now. You decide what the next version of your life looks like. You decide what stays, what goes, what's rebuilt, and what's left behind. Every brick you lay is a decision to rise. Every day you show up, you're proving to yourself that the ruins were never the end. They were the reset. You have to understand that the ruins are sacred. They are the birthplace of transformation. When you're surrounded by failure, that's where real strength is forged. It's easy to talk about resilience when life is good. It's easy to speak about confidence when everything's working. But when the walls fall and you're standing in the debris, that's when you discover what you're really made of. That's when you find the part of you that refuses to die. The ruins give you access to your core. They strip away everything fake, leaving behind nothing but raw willpower. Every scar you carry from the collapse is proof that you've lived through something most people would have quit in. Every scar is a map of survival. Use it. Don't hide from your brokenness. Build with it. Let the cracks remind you that you've been tested and you're still standing. Let the pain remind you that you're not fragile, you're forged. When the dust settles and you're surrounded by silence, that's when your voice matters most. That's when you tell yourself, it's time to rebuild. Not because it's easy, not because you have to, but because you're capable. The ruins demand patience. You can't rebuild everything overnight. You'll get frustrated. You'll doubt yourself. You'll question whether it's even worth it. But every time you choose to keep building instead of breaking again, you're separating yourself from the crowd. You're proving that your spirit is stronger than your circumstance. That's how legends are made, not by avoiding collapse, but by rising from it again and again. You build through the ruins by showing up every single day, by refusing to let the past dictate your progress. You use discipline as your weapon and belief as your armor. You wake up with purpose, even when it hurts, even when the rubble reminds you of what's lost. You don't run from it, you build through it. Because that's how empires rise from ashes. That's how warriors are born. That's how you turn what tried to destroy you into the very thing that defines you. Fail forward relentlessly. Bro. The people who win the loudest are the ones who fail the most and refuse to quit. Failure is your teacher, not your tombstone. Every mistake, every misstep, every defeat is a message written in pain, reminding you that progress is never perfect. You don't fail because you're weak. You fail because you're trying. You're moving, you're learning, you're testing your limits. The only ones who never fail are the ones who never dare to begin. Every time you fall short, every time you get rejected, every time you hit a wall, you are being handed the lesson you need for the next round. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's the foundation of it. Most people treat failure like a dead end. They stop, they hide, they label themselves as not good enough. But the truth is, failure is just feedback. It's data. It's a mirror that shows you where you still need to grow. You're not supposed to run from it. You're supposed to study it. The people who reach the top aren't the ones who avoided failure. They're the ones who learn to fail better, faster, and more fearlessly than everyone else. Every fall becomes a step forward because they refuse to stay down. They don't let the fall define them. They let it refine them. Failure will break you only if you let it. The difference between the broken and the unbreakable isn't that one failed and the other didn't. It's that one stopped getting back up. You can't avoid failure if you're chasing something meaningful. You can't expect to climb without slipping. The path to mastery is paved with mistakes. Every failure you survive is another scar that tells the world, I'm still here. Every rejection is a reminder that you were brave enough to try. Failure is proof of effort. It means you showed up. It means you cared enough to risk something. The process of failing forward is painful because it forces you to face your ego. It humbles you. It strips away your pride and reminds you that you're still learning. But that's exactly what you need: humility. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in correction. You can't learn from what went right. You learn from what went wrong. The faster you embrace that, the faster you evolve. Every loss holds a lesson that success hides. When you win, you celebrate. When you lose, you grow. The pain of failure is the price of wisdom. You pay it once, and it keeps teaching you for the rest of your life. To fail forward means to see every fall as a step, not a setback. You fall, you bleed, you learn, you move. That's the rhythm of progress. There's no shortcut. You'll be misunderstood. You'll be doubted. You'll feel like you're moving backward when everyone else seems to be winning. But while they're chasing comfort, you're collecting experience. You're building the kind of resilience that can't be bought. Failure is the gym where your spirit trains. Every repetition of defeat strengthens your ability to endure. Every no you hear prepares you for the moment you finally get your yes. Most people quit after the first few failures because they attach their identity to their results. They think failing means they are failures. But failing doesn't make you a failure. Quitting does. The ones who keep going through failure are the ones who eventually dominate. They stop taking failure personally. They stop seeing it as proof of their limitations and start seeing it as proof of their effort. You only become unstoppable when failure no longer scares you. When you expect it, accept it, and keep moving through it, you're already ahead of most people who never even try. You have to develop a relationship with failure that's built on respect. Don't run from it. Don't curse it. Don't hate it. Respect it for what it is: a mentor. A brutal, honest, unforgiving mentor that doesn't lie to you. Success will flatter you, but failure will teach you the truth. It'll show you where your weaknesses are, where your discipline slips, where your limits begin. It'll force you to face parts of yourself you've been avoiding. It'll expose every crack in your mindset and every gap in your preparation. That's not cruelty. That's clarity. Failure reveals what success hides. Every time you fail, you get a choice. You can surrender or you can study. You can drown in self-pity or you can dissect what went wrong. The people who rise out of failure don't let emotion cloud their lesson. They hurt, but they analyze. They bleed, but they learn. They look at the wreckage and ask, what did this teach me? And then they apply it. They make adjustments. They refine their approach. They don't repeat the same mistake twice. That's how you fail forward, by turning every defeat into data and using it to move faster next time. There's beauty in failure if you know how to look. It humbles you, grounds you, and reminds you that greatness isn't a straight climb. It's a messy, painful, relentless process. Every champion you've ever admired has a graveyard of failures behind them. Missed chances, broken deals, humiliating losses. But they didn't stay buried there. They used those moments to sharpen their hunger. The pain became fuel, the losses became lessons, the failures became the foundation. That's how success is built. Not by avoiding the fire, but by walking through it until it bends to your will. To fail forward relentlessly means to live without fear of falling. It means to see failure as a test, not a tragedy. Every time you fall, you're being asked, how bad do you want it? And every time you rise again, you're answering that question louder. Failure will never stop showing up, but neither should you. The only way to beat it is to keep moving, keep learning, keep adapting. You fall, you rise, you repeat. You keep moving forward through every setback, every rejection, every disappointment, until success has no choice but to surrender.